All right. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
As part of a digital storytelling class, I have to tell a traditional or a literary tale, and I'm going to tell a traditional Appalachian folk tale about Jack. Now, I ain't lying, I'm telling you a story. Jack and his mama, they lived so far back in the woods, nobody hardly knew they were there, and they was so poor they could hardly pay attention. And Jack got up to be a big old boy, a young man, and his mama said, "Jack, it's time for you to go out in the world and make your way in the world. I can't take care of you no more. You're going to have to go out and take care of yourself. I'll be up here living my dirt poor life, but you go out and seek your fortune in the world." So Jack always listened to his mama. He went out to seek his fortune in the world, and pretty soon he discovered a family of a couple, man and a wife, and their 3 daughters that needed a farmhand. So Jack took a job working on their farm. He was taking care of their livestock and their crops and whatnot, and working for them. Pretty soon, though, those 3 daughters, they started talking about how handsome Jack was, and they really liked him. That made their mother mad. So she commenced to stop feeding Jack. Just fed him barely every day, a little bit to keep him alive. Poor Jack was just nearly starving, getting down to skin and bones. Jack didn't know why the old woman was being mean to him and not feeding him, but it was happening to him, and he was sad. So Jack one day took his fiddle down out in the pasture, and he went down by the stream, and he sat down on a rock about dark and played a really sad tune on the fiddle because he was most heartbroken as he was hungry. And he played that fiddle for a long time, a really long, sad song. And when he finished it, this big old black bull walked up behind him and said, "Oh, that's the saddest, most beautiful music I've ever heard. Why are you so sad?" And Jack turned to the bull and said, "Well, I'm starving to death. I work so hard for these people, and they don't give me nothing to eat ever." And the bull said, "Oh, if you'll come and play that beautiful music for me every day, I will feed and take care of you. All you have to do is unscrew my left horn, and it's full of bread, and unscrew my right horn, and it's full of milk." So Jack did that, and he ate those victuals and was just satiated and quite full and happy after that. So he put the horns back on the bull and went back to his work. And pretty soon, every day, Jack would go down to the river, play his fiddle for the bull, and get his fill of food from the bull's horns. Well, soon, Jack started putting on weight, muscling up, because he was still working hard. And the old woman didn't like this. She said, "I know he's up to something when he sneaks out in that pasture." So she said to her daughters, "You all have to go find out." So she sent her first daughter out to spy on Jack and see where he was getting his food. Well, the first daughter, who happened to only have one eye, went out and was spying on Jack. But Jack was a clever feller. He knew somebody was spying on him. So he played the kind of tune he knew that would put them to sleep. So he played a long tune on his fiddle. Pretty soon that girl's one eye just started nodding her and her closing, her head nodding, and Jack played her to sleep. And then he went to the bull and got his food, went on his way. Well, the daughter went back and told her mother, "I tried, but I just fell asleep. I don't know what he's doing." "Oh, you're no good anyway," the old mean mother said. "Tell you what, send the other daughter out. You go out and spy on him." So the other daughter goes out, and she's got 2 good eyes. She spies on Jack. Jack, though, he's clever. He knows what's happening. So he plays his tune, long, hard. Soon one of the girl's eyes nods asleep. Plays it double long, that sad, sad song. And pretty soon, both eyes are closed and the girl's asleep. And Jack goes to the bull, unscrews the horns, and gets his milk and bread. Oh, the woman was so mad the next day when the daughter said she didn't find out, so she sent the 3rd daughter out, who had 3 eyes.
Oh.
And she goes out there, and Jack knows what's up, so he plays his fiddle long and hard, and one of her eyes closes and plays it double long and hard, sad, sad song. The second eye closes. He keeps playing, but that 3rd eye just stays open. And Jack thinks she's asleep, but she sees him get the food from the bull. So she goes back and, of course, tells her mother. So the next day, when Jack goes up to the farmhouse to get his working orders, the woman says, "I'm going to have me some beef today. You bring that old bull up here, and we're going to butcher him." Well, Jack goes down to get the bull and explains what's happened to the bull. And the bull's like, "Oh, I have a plan. I won't let anybody get near me but you with the axe. And when you get that axe, you'll know what to do. So he takes the bull up to the house, and the old man gets out the axe and is going to kill the bull, but the bull pitches a fit and starts tearing things up. So Jack calms the bull down. The old woman gets the axe and comes, and the bull again starts tearing things up like it's going to kill everybody. So Jack says, give me the pole axe and you hold the bull, to the old woman. So she says, okay. She gives him the axe. She's holding the bull. So Jack rears back with that axe and he lops the old lady's head off. He knows for sure they're going to hang him now, so he jumps on that bull and they start riding hard as they can out of that country. And they ride for days. They ride for a couple days before finally they stop at a spring. And the bull's drinking from the spring. Of course, Jack's getting his food from the bull's horns. And as the bull's drinking from the spring, he notices white bubbles come up. And the bull tells Jack, that's a bad omen for sure. Something's going to happen before this day is out. So they ride on, and about noon that day, sure enough, this giant white bull blocks their path. And the bull says, Jack, I've got to fight this creature. You're going to have to hide. So he takes Jack over, and Jack climbs up a tree. Jack then watches as the bulls fight throughout most of the afternoon. They just fight until finally Jack's bull defeats that white bull. He's tired, but he defeated it, killed it. So Jack gets on the bull again, and they ride on the next day. The next day they come to another spring, and Jack cleans it out, and the bull's drinking his fill, and red bubbles come up. And the bull says, oh, this is a bad omen. Something's going to happen for sure. And they ride on, and sure enough, that afternoon, a giant red bull is blocking their path, just snorting fire, ready to fight, raring to fight Jack's black bull. And same thing, Jack gets up a tree and watches the bulls fight. It takes a long time. Jack's bull is tired because he fought the day before, but he finally defeats that bull, that red bull. And then he goes on, and they ride some more. They ride on the next day. The bull's getting pretty tired at this point, but Jack tries to take it easy on him, but then they come to another spring, and Jack cleans out this spring, and the bull drinks. And this time, blue bubbles come up. And the bull says, oh, this is a bad omen for sure, Jack. Now, I want to tell you something, Jack. Should anything ever happen to me, I want you to take my horns and take a strop of hide off my back and keep it with you. And if ever you're in trouble, you can say, beat horns beat, and tie strops tie, and I will help you the rest of your life, even if I'm not here. Jack said, oh, nothing's going to happen to you, bull. It'll be okay. So they rode on, but then sure enough, here's this giant blue bull. It's twice the size of Jack's black bull. And they fight, most of that day, and they fight into the night because Jack's bull was tough. But eventually he succumbed to the giant blue bull. Jack was most powerful sad the next day as he had to go cut that strop off the bull's back and take those horns. But he put them in his sack and he traveled on. Now, he'd gone far enough now that he probably could forget about the bad things he'd done back at that other farm. So he went looking, and he was in an orchard area. So he went looking for work in this orchard area. And he found this one farmer who said, no, I don't need any help right now. I'm raising pigs and apples. I'm doing good. But the neighbor lady might need help, but I want you to be careful because she's a witch. So be careful what you do there around her. Be careful. He said, oh, I need work real bad, so I'm going to go see her. And I think I'll be okay. So he goes and he starts working for the witch, helping harvest her apples. But one day, he spilled a bunch of apples and ruined them. Got the witch mad. She goes, I'm going to beat you good. I'm gonna beat you about the shins. So she comes up to him and she starts trying to kick him in the shins really hard. And Jack didn't know what to do, but he whipped out his horns and his strop and said, tie, strop, tie. And beat, horns, beat. And the strop tied up the old witch, and the horn started beating her until she said, oh, let me go. I'll give you anything you want if you just let me go. And Jack says, I want a fine suit of clothes like they wear in the cities, a nice suit for a gentleman. So, okay, I'll buy you one, just let me go. So he lets her go. Sure enough, she provided him with a fine suit of clothes for him to wear. But he keeps working for her for a few more days, and then one day again, it's bound to happen. Jack broke something, and she comes to him, oh, I'm going to strangle you this time. And she comes up and tries to strangle Jack, and Jack pulls out the strop and the horns, it says, tie, strop, tie, and beat, horns, beat. And again, they tie up the old woman, and the horns start prodding her till she's just apoplectic and says, oh, Jack, make it stop. I'll give you whatever you want, anything you want. And Jack says, I want a fine horse to ride. So Jack gets a fine horse to ride, keeps working for her a little bit more. Neighbors are amazed he's lasted this long with the old witch, but they don't know about his magical items. So Jack goes on, and again, the witch gets mad at him one day, and she comes and says, I'm going to knock your brains out, and comes at him with a big stick this time. And Jack says, tie, strop, tie, beat, horns, beat. And they tie up the old lady and beat her, and Jack lets them beat her good long this time, because he's pretty tired of her. And she says, I'll give you anything you want. What do you want? He says, I want a big sack of gold. So she says, okay, and she gives him a big sack of gold, and he lets her go. But he says, I'm done working for you. I got a sack of gold, fine suit of clothes, and a fine horse. So Jack rides off into town, where he lives a high life for a long time on his money and his clothes. He stays in motels and eats in fancy restaurants till he pretty much spends all that money, even loses his horse in a horse race, and he's back to where he started. Jack ain't made no fortune in the world. Well, he did make a fortune, but he's done lost it. So then Jack says, I got to go back to work in the orchards. So he goes back to the first farmer he talked to, the one who was raising pigs and apples, and says, hey, it's about harvest season. Could you use a hand? And he says, oh yeah, okay. I'll hire you on, Jack. Come help me. I've been having trouble with my pigs going missing. So Jack is up there, and he's in one of the apple trees, about dark, shaking it so the apples will fall out for the pigs to eat. And he sees this giant woman come over the hill and just pick up 2 hogs under each arm and run off with them. And he's like, oh, I know what's happening to your pigs, he tells the farmer. I think I got a plan. And they make a plan. So the next night, Jack again is up in the tree shaking out the apples, and the giantess comes and he challenges her and says, hey, stop stealing those pigs. And she picks up a boulder big as Jack's head and crushes it into dust. Says, that's what I'm going to do to you. And Jack says, I don't think so. And he says, tie, strop, tie, and beat, horns, beat. And the strop ties up her legs, and the horns beat her and knock her over. And so when she's knocked over, tied up on the ground, the pigs come up, and they start biting her and eating her too. And the farmer comes out, he gets the poleaxe and chops the giantess's head off. And the farmer was so grateful that Jack killed the giantess and saved his hogs that he gave Jack another treasure sack full of money. And after that, Jack had got a little smart from his first adventure, and he went home to his mama and gave her that money. And that's my story.